from beautiful, historic downtown Ashtabula, Bridge Street, Ohio, whatever you want to call it. But it's a beautiful evening, probably the last evening that we're going to have some nice weather. But nonetheless, I am Ryan. This is my partner, Sam, the voice of 440 Goal. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Big show. Going to have some coaches on tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun there.
Yeah, a little bit of a different guest part because, unfortunately, our player of the week this week can't make the show.
Yes.
So, like coaches do, when the players can't, the coaches will.
Right. So we're going to have coaches, some volleyball, the touchdown reel. Stay tuned, though. We're going to have a little call-in again. We're going to try this again. We're going to have some one and a half good questions. I think is going to be fun. But with that being said, let's run right into it, Sam. How was your weekend? Because I don't even remember what I did for my weekend, but my memory will start kicking up here in a minute.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't remember a whole lot. I know I had some fun on Sunday out there reffing some flag football over there at St. John.
Yeah.
That was a fun day, sitting watching the Browns go out and ruin my Sunday or attempt to.
They always do.
But
they've stopped doing that to me.
At least if they lost, so did Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I had that going
the
for
AFC
me.
North, I think they're all 2-2, if I recall.
No, Pittsburgh is 1-3.
Hey, we'll take the deal.
So, good luck with that. Good luck with that, guys. Anyway, no, it was a good weekend. We as we close into this playoff, things are starting to get locked in more and more and more. And I know it's crazy to think about, but guys, basketball's right around the corner too.
Yep.
And me being the nut that I am, I've already started to look who's playing, where are they playing, what are we doing? So I can't wait for that to go. But before we get into shooting the ball in the hoop, let's talk about putting the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, that's for sure. Speaking of putting the ball in the end zone, Lakeside Youth.
Yeah.
My JV squad, assistant coach, helped with the offensive line there, and pretty much yell at kids. No, I don't. But 6-0, real tough game last week against the Geneva Eagles JV program.
Who was also undefeated.
Yes, going into that game. It was a battle of the Titans, I guess, 5-0 and 5-0 going into it. But real good game. We did come out victorious 25-13. A lot of fun to go into that game, and I can't say enough about the Geneva Eagles JV program out there. And I promise you, they know how to run the wing T too.
Listen, I'm telling you what.
I promise you they do.
So I think that the Eagles go to all the local daycares. Anybody who comes into Geneva,
handing out a little pamphlet.
Hey, it says, "Do you like football? Learn to run." This is what we're gonna do. You're gonna get them right, bright and early, and it shows because Lakeside and Geneva have been competitive at every level. Like you go down to junior high, they're competing. You go down to the YFL. I keep wanting to call it midget league.
Yep.
They're competing there too, and it's just a great. The two biggest dogs in the county are always competing. It's very fun to watch, and having close battles and having both teams be good at that level lets you know that the future is going to be bright.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Very entertaining. We do have a bye week this weekend, but I did get to do the flag football with Sam. Me and him ref the games. I guess I'm the honorary president of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not league. Honorary, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a specific title, but a lot of fun down there at St. John's. So keep that one rolling. So
yeah, it was really a fun. That flag football is fun because kids are getting to learn the game. I've always been a fan of hitting football. I think the earlier the better. I know some people don't. But I do know this. You can teach somebody how to catch the ball. You can teach somebody how to throw the ball, but you can't teach somebody how it feels to get rocked.
Yes.
You cannot teach that. That's something you got to learn on your own. And, that's the earlier you learn that, the better.
Yes. Yeah. It should be, it's definitely a lot of trial and tribulation with the youth at that age. I started off last year, 5 to 7 year olds, and this year going into that 8 to 9 year old bracket. And still like herding cats sometimes. It's still like herding cats. It was a rough one today, but the boys are getting after it and going to town. So,
well, I'll tell you what, like it's a fine line that youth coaches have to really walk,
right?
Because you got to coach them hard. I believe that. I've always believed that. You got to coach them hard, but you can't coach them away from the sport. And it can happen, and I've seen it happen. So, shout out to all the coaches who are out there getting it done. And A
lot of
dealing with some
perseverance
on some days unwatchable football.
It
It's tough sometimes. But before we get to these coaches, we're going to talk about who these coaches coached. Our Week 7 Player of the Week, and that is going to be the Geneva Eagles' own Hayden Deemer. Now, this kid is a sophomore in the five-headed Hydra, is what I'm going to call that backfield back there. They got 5 guys that can absolutely murder you.
Yeah.
This kid, it was just his night. He's going to go 10 carries. Actually, got the stat update tonight. 159 is the carry total or the yard total there. 63 yards in the air for this young man, and passing yards come at a premium in Geneva. So for him to be able to get that done, they were really moving on all cylinders. But without further ado, let's talk to the guys who made it possible for that man to get all those yards and beat their county foe, Edgewood Warriors, and that's going to be Coach Matt Pete and Coach Don Shimsky. The Geneva Eagles are in the house. What's going on, coaches?
Gotcha.
Hey, guys.
You're good. Yep. Sorry about that.
How's it going, coaches? How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
So, let's get right into the game on Friday. Hayden is he has a night. Now, this is a guy you guys are very familiar with, even though he's only a sophomore, a guy that, has found his way through the program. Talk a little bit about Hayden and, his place in the program and maybe just his work ethic, that sort of thing.
Well, Hayden being a sophomore this year, as things went on in the summertime, I did think we definitely had him pegged in at playing on defense. I think as time wore on and we went through our practices at the beginning part of the summer, he started to work his way in on offense as well. And then we saw the weapon that he could be. He's a kid he's pretty quiet, pretty mild-mannered, but he, along with, a lot of the other guys that we have, it's a hard-working, hard-nosed crew, and they know how to go out and practice hard, and Hayden was able to have a great performance on Friday as a result.
Yeah, now go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. Hayden's kind of been on my radar for the last couple years. And honestly, when I really started to notice him was last year during basketball season. And I liked the way he got up and down the court. I knew he had some wiggle. He's got some speed. Going into this year, I had in the back of my mind that he could possibly be our other starting halfback. And like Coach said, he's a sophomore. Obviously, you have trust issues. Can I trust him to carry the ball? Can he protect the ball? And I kind of started him off slowly. And as the year has progressed, he's been getting more touches every game. He had a great game last week against Orange. He made some big plays, even defensively, he's made some great plays. And it had nothing to do with him being a Edgewood East Side boy last week, but he was feeling it. And so I kept giving him the ball. I had a lot of faith in him, and he had a great game. And he is a great kid. He's the most polite, quiet. I don't like to call him shy because from what his friends tell me, he's not shy. But
his friends say he's not quiet either.
But for example, I think it might have been in the game last week. We ran a play, and some of our plays are pretty wordy, pretty lengthy, and Hayden didn't do what he was supposed to do. So I chewed him out a little bit. And then quarterback comes over and said, hey, that's not how the play came in, so I had to apologize. But he never said a word to me. He wasn't like, Coach, I did what I was supposed to do. Or, that's just the type of kid he is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and, you talk a little bit about, the guys you have out there. It's really a lot of teams talk about sharing the load, and they talk about having trust. You guys don't have trust in just one guy. Your offense isn't single faceted. You guys literally have 5 guys that on every night can go out there and get the job done. And not only that, they need to get the job done. When those 5 guys are all doing their job, you guys seem to be an unstoppable force. Is that something that they're kind of policing within themselves, or is that something, you guys are trying to teach in camp? When are you starting to see these guys where they kind of lean on each other?
Well, I think it's a game-to-game thing. I mean, it's, granted, Luke Smith's an awesome back. And if he's having a game, I'm going to give him the ball. But when you find other things that are working, Wilson pounding it on the inside, if it's working, we're going to him. So I think it's kind of, not that we want to spread the wealth, but you have to find what's working, and that's what you go with. So, yeah, I mean, we have 4 backs that consistently carry the ball, including our quarterback, Kenny Young, and we got a lot of guys behind them. I mean, we have kids that haven't even touched the ball that I'm comfortable with touching the ball. So it doesn't just stop at those 4 guys. It goes way beyond that. So.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, we've got some depth at the skill position, and, we got guys who are capable of breaking long plays like that. There's quite a few of them. We got more coming up. So we're very blessed in that respect. But I also, we have to throw kudos to the guys who I think, probably haven't gotten as much press, as much as Hayden's done a great job and those other backs have done a great job. It was our offensive line who, they were road graders out there Friday night. And, they take a lot of pride in that, as they should. And they're humble, they're quiet, just like they should be. And they just went out and did the job. And we're proud of them for that.
Yeah, you guys are one of my favorite films when so I do the touchdown reel, and I love breaking up your guys' film just because I get a little bit better of a look at, everyone's offensive line. And usually when you get a touchdown, it may or not break loose 60 yards or so. And there's a couple reasons for it, but it is fun to watch you're pulling guards and tackles. And I think even sometimes centers there too. So.
Listen, he's not paying attention to anybody under number 49 at all.
I'm glad he got the tutty by all means, but he didn't get there without somebody in front of him.
We appreciate our linemen. We know that's where it starts. And we give out a player of the week only for games that we win. And believe it or not, we give it to linemen. And that only goes to one person for each win. And I got to give a shout out to Coach Clemens. He was at the varsity level years ago. He stepped down and went down to the freshman. We got him back up where he needs to be. And the kids love him. He's an awesome coach, and he's done a super job with these guys. So shout out to him.
So you actually touched on something there. I don't know if you meant to or not, but when you mentioned the freshman team, you guys have a freshman team, which is as rare as a diamond out here.
Yeah.
You guys have a freshman team, a JV team. How much is that really playing a part in these guys? By the time they're playing on Friday night, these guys have played a lot of football.
Well, I can remember years and years ago where, when we had budget cuts, we had to completely get rid of the freshman program. And then we had to have all the freshmen. They came up and they played varsity with us. And it was a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted space for those guys. So, we had a group of parents that fundraised, and Matt was one of them. I know that helped to bring back freshman sports. And, it's imperative. I mean, those freshmen get an extra year where they have a schedule all their own. They get to play a lot of football, and they get a lot more individualized instruction. We've got, our freshman coaches, Josh Williams and John Barbo. Those 2 guys do a great job down there. They've had a great season so far. And if nothing else, it's about building the program. So those guys know that by the time when it's their turn to play on Friday nights, it's not new to them. They know the terminology and they know everything else. I mean, they know what to do. So yeah, I think it's very important to have that separate freshman team.
Even with the freshman team, the JV team, and really depth, you guys have, I won't say a lot, but quite a few guys who are playing on both sides of the ball. Now, are you seeing that because these guys are just such great athletes that you got to keep them on the field all the time? Or are those JV guys still trying to play catch up?
Well, I think that part of it's we're trying to get our best athletes on the field all the time. And the fact is, we took it upon ourselves this year to make sure we were in shape to be able to do it. In the fact is, some of those JV guys, they're still just sophomores. I mean, I know we got Hayden playing as a sophomore. And our starting inside linebacker is Bryce Pete, who's a freshman. But then past that, we got juniors and seniors out there. It's hard to, when your depth comes as sophomores, sometimes those sophomores aren't ready. And sometimes they need to be there at JV. And that's where they get their seasoning. That's where they get their experience. And, a lot of those guys that we're talking about on the offensive line, they didn't let her last year as sophomores. They got a lot of experience as JV players. And, they're performing now. They're doing a great job. So we're just trying to put the best 11 guys on the field. And you know what? Conditioning, knock on wood, hasn't been an issue for us. And so it's been a recipe that's worked for us so far this year.
Yeah, and you talk about you putting the best 11 guys on the field, and 5 times this year that's been the case. Not that the other 2 it wasn't, but 5 times for sure. You guys had the best 11 guys on both offense and defense. Let's talk a little bit about this schedule. When we talked early on the season, you guys had an absolute monster ahead of you. Going down to Youngstown to play a team in not Struthers. We'll talk about them next, but Springfield, who loses the state championship last year. Struthers, who I'm pretty sure the average weight of the offensive line out there is about 315. You had guys that really be honest. Geneva wasn't given a chance in none of those games, and yet here you are. Victorious in both of those. What is going on in practice? I mean, I know obviously coaches, you guys think, should think as well, we can beat anybody we go against. What did you see in these kids when they went down there that not only did they win, you guys smacked those teams?
Well, we knew, coming off of week 1, I think as a coaching staff, we kind of felt like we let ourselves down. So we really had to concentrate. We had a great week of practice. We take everything one day at a time. So we knew we were going down there. We call it the Steel Valley. We actually do a drill in practice that's called Steel Valley, which that's our 3rd team from down south that we beat because we knocked Hubbard off in the playoffs a couple
I
years
forgot
ago.
about Hubbard.
Yeah. So we changed the name of the Steel Valley drill. It's now the Lake Effect drill. So we dubbed that ourselves. But we knew we had to have a good week of practice. We had to turn things around. We had no choice. I mean, losing to Madison week 1, we're thinking to ourselves, we could easily be 0-2 if we go out and perform like we did in week 1. And the kids really responded. Everyone held their head up high. And we knew we had to go down there and we had to, punch them in the face before they did it to us. And that's exactly what we did. We got them on their heels and they could never recover. So, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite phrases that I've picked up over the years that I try to tell the kids is never waste a failure. And we failed that first week, and you can't wallow in it. One of the things I say to the kids is we're leaving film. After a game, it's like, you guys, as soon as we walk out of this door, as soon as you're done in the weight room, you're done enjoying this victory. It's on to the next opponent. So you can't wallow in those things, and we didn't. It's a testament to the kids, and we just try to take things, like Coach said, a day at a time, and try to keep things even keeled. Don't get too emotional, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just keep plugging away, and that's a message that the kids have received, and has worked well for us.
Yeah, it most certainly has. I didn't do the grand total of what the rushing yards are this year yet. I know it was closer to 1,800 last week.
1,777.
Yeah, you guys certainly.
He knows.
I'm going to tell you
numbers. There ain't even a question.
I'm going to tell you, we've had, because we've tried to throw the ball a little bit more this year, and we have, but we've had some negative yards. We've had some bad snaps. We've had probably a couple hundred yards in negative yards because of it, or that number would be a lot better.
I mean, 1777 over 7 games.
Yeah,
doesn't sound too bad.
It really ain't. That you show you what the difference between expectations and Geneva expectations are. But you guys are going. You guys have a still a tough schedule ahead of you guys for sure. As you guys have battled back and playoffs are starting to knock on the door. What are we going to get to look forward to seeing when the Eagles take the field?
Well, we're just going to keep doing what we do. I think one of the lessons that we learned in Madison week 1, I think we kind of got away from ourselves. We got away from our identity a little bit when we went to Struthers week 2, we were much more basic and just, you know what, we're going to come right at you. Go ahead and stop us. You know, we're going to approach each of the next 3 weeks with the same type of, you know, idea. We don't have, it's like at this point in the season, you know, we might be putting little wrinkles in, but the offense that's in is in, the defense that's in is in. And we have to be able to adjust what the other team gives us. But, you know, we've got a formidable team in West Geauga this week, tomorrow night. You know, another great opponent in Perry that will play on a Thursday night. So we'll have a short week of preparation. And, you know, Chagrin Falls is always tough as well. So we got our work cut out for us. But, you know, I think the kids they've bought into the process, bought into our routine, and they see the success that it's given us, and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing what you guys are going to do. I think you guys have definitely some more W's ahead of you guys, because you guys are moving on all cylinders.
And we're not gonna end this night until we talk about our defense, because you want to know what's really winning some football games. It's that defense. You know, the best offense, your best defense is your offense, of course. But I mean, Coach Jim has these guys dialed in. I mean, our defense has been playing really well. I mean, we've got a shutout. We should have a couple. We should have shut out Springfield. They got a touchdown and some garbage time at the end. But the boys are playing really well on the defensive side of the ball too.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's an anomaly, I guess, is what we'll call it in Geneva football. Because historically speaking, the way you attack the Eagles is you put it in the air. You know, you pass on these guys, and that's how you're going to get a pass. Well, this is the same team that is leading the county with 8 interceptions. So I don't know if you guys just focused on that passing game, or if guys really just started taking it more seriously. But you're not kidding. Your defense has been on a roll.
Yeah, well, you know, interceptions and everything are nice, but when we look at our defensive goals, you know, we look at yardage, we look at like red zone stops, and you know, throughout the season, you know, we've held some good teams to some pretty mild outputs in yardage, and you know, if you can get a pick, that's awesome, and you know, we've been able to get a couple of those, but a couple of them, you know, it's just the way the ball bounces. You know, I'd much rather say, hey, you know, like against Struthers, able to hold them under, you know, 200 yards of total offense. That was pretty good. You know,
yeah, I would say, I would say,
you know, so it maybe it was 200. I'd have to look back at the stats, but when I saw what the stats were, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad. You know, our guys were able to perform that way. So, you know, it's a total team effort, and you know, the guys are rolling on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you guys look very good this year. Athletic, I think, is the best way to describe the team this year. Athletic. You guys, you know, I think when people think wing T, they think goal line look all the entire game. And then when they, you know, I don't think anybody's ever comfortable running on Geneva or has ever been. Like, that's what you guys do. You guys have always been able to stop the run. But, you know, being able to stop the pass, putting that in this year, you know, not just the interceptions, you guys have tons and tons of breakups as well on the pass. So, you know, causing good quarterbacks to make bad throws. That's what the Eagles are doing this year.
Well-rounded squad. Yeah, well-rounded. Especially last game, I think 2 plays, 2 touchdowns, if I recall right.
yeah.
2 plays, 2 tutties, just like that. Just
same play.
Was it? I think
Same
it was
play.
the opposite side, though, wasn't it?
We just went the other way with it.
Right. Yeah, that's why I watched the tape, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same play, but
Hey.
it worked twice.
If it ain't broke. But you know what, coaches? I want to tell you guys, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you guys. We're really, really looking forward to seeing how this is going to shake out for the Eagles. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and this team is really just full of great kids. And, you know, and that's another thing that people don't really take into account. You got good kids out there. It's a respectful group of kids who you know, are you know, kids that aren't going to embarrass you off the field either, you know, from all the times we've seen these kids. So kudos to you guys for, you know, essentially coaching men is what you guys have done. So thank you so much.
Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks again for
Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Go Hayden Deemer.
Hey, listen, go out and beat the River Weasels this week.
All righty.
All right, guys, I'm going to take you off the screen. Thanks again for tuning in. Or they're going to take themselves off the screen.
Yeah.
That works too. So, real quick recap. So, this week's player of the week is going to be Hayden Deemer. As you guys see there, his player card, 159 yards on the ground.
Yeah, got that updated.
Yeah, 3 tutties and 63 receiving yards for him. Congratulations to Hayden Deemer. If you are watching, we are going to need a message, though, to know your shirt size.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Get that one in. So.
We'll get it. But as we talked about football, we got to talk about our girls over there on the volleyball court, as we're going to go through some of this week's this week's statistical leaders for each team. Here it is. It's time for volleyball.
All right, there it is. So starting it off with the Lakeside Dragons, and congratulations to them. I do believe they are...
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they are the CVC Lake Division champions.
Right. So if we're wrong, we're sorry. If not, it sounded really good, and I'm happy for you guys either way. But the Dragons are going to go. Let me make this screen a little bigger to read it a little bit better. 13-3 so far. They went 1-2 last week, defeating Geneva, taking losses to Jefferson and Hawken. None other than Chris Jelly Rodriguez out there with 76 kills.
CJR2K.
Yeah, CJR2K, 76 kills. Hale?
Yeah, Haley.
Haley? Okay, I'm sorry. Haley Chase with 9 aces. Alyssa Shetler.
There you go.
I'll spit it out with 7 blocks. Chris Jelly Rodriguez with 64 digs. And Andy Mikoski,
you got it.
Mikoski with 64 assists for the Dragons. Moving right on.
All right, we're going to move right over to their crosstown rival. That's those Edgewood Warriors. Their record overall 9-5. They are going to go 3-0 last week, defeating PV, West Geauga, and Harvey. Their kill leader going to be Ella Sloan with 29. Aces are going to be Isabella Stern with 8. The blocks leader is going to be Isabella Stern with 7. Your digs leader is going to be McKenna Venzel with 33, and Gianna Ionetta is the assist leader with 43.
All right, moving into the Geneva Eagles, 8-9 on the year. Last week, they did finish 2-1, defeating Chagrin Falls and Madison. They did take a loss to Lakeside. Kill leader is going to be Sydney Park with 33. Ace leader is going to be Sydney Park with 8. Blocks leader is going to be Sydney Park with 6. Dig leader is going to be Alex Nugent with 47. And assist leader is going to be Gianna DeLuca with 44. Congratulations, Eagles.
All right, moving on. You're going to the 14-1 St. John Heralds, and their kill leader is going to be Gabby Johnston with 36. Ace leader is going to be Gianna Decato with 8. Their block leader, Eva Oster, with 6. Harley Schellenberger, their dig leader, with 39. Lizzie Ducrow going to be the assist leader with 72. Heralds are going to go 3-0 last week, defeating Bristol, Wyndham, and Fairport.
14-1, that sounds like pretty close to possible NAC title, right?
Yeah, I think they're playing for it. I want to say maybe Thursday.
Okay, yeah. So good luck, Heralds. Going into the Falcons, 15-4 on the year. The Falcons went 3-0 last week, defeating Lakeside, Niles McKinley, and Struthers. Chloe O'Rourke with 39.
Yes,
with 39 kills. Ace leader is also going to be Chloe O'Rourke. I got 3 more names.
Got it, man.
I got 3 more names. Don't worry. Helena Edgar with 8 blocks. Chloe O'Rourke with 41. So 2 more. No, 1 name each. Sorry, there was 2. And so Chloe O'Rourke with 41 digs, and Helena Edgar with 80 assists.
Way to go.
Hey, I try.
Conneaut Spartans, I got the easy one here. They did not have any scheduled games for week 6, so their stats.
Yep. Sorry, Conneaut. Moving on to
Grand Valley Mustangs. So they're going to be 2-13 last week. Or 2-13 is going to be their overall record. Mustangs going 0-2 last week, taking losses to Kirtland and Berkshire. Kill leader going to be Michaela Hopes and Kaylin Hart with 2 each. Their ace leader going to be Michaela Hopes with 2. Dixie Miller and Kaylin Hart are going to have 1 block apiece. Michaela Hopes going to have 6 digs, and Riley Ellsworth is going to have 3 assists.
All right, last but not least is going to be the PV Lakers, 6-11 record overall. The Lakers finished 2-1 last week, defeating Fairport, Harding, and Wyndham, but they did take a loss to Edgewood. Autumn Newkirk with 19 kills, Sage Payne with 9 aces, Autumn Newkirk with 9 blocks, Maddie Herman with 65 digs, and their assist leader is going to be Mia Hall with 36 of them hot ones.
Yeah, and congratulations to all the ladies out there getting it done this year. Looks like St. John and both St. John and Lakeside going to be competing or have already won their conference titles. I mean, that could, that's not an easy thing to get done. These
banners, baby.
Yeah, these
Putting
girls
them
are
up,
getting ready
hopefully.
to start the sectionals as well. So they got their tournament play coming up. And while getting that banner up on the wall is great, playing deep into the playoffs is better. So, stay on top of your game, girls. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. You guys are doing great, and there's some really great players here in Ashtabula County, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Player of the Year voting is going to go this year. As next week we are going to begin getting nominations out to coaches. So, look for some familiar names. I bet you that most of the people that we're going to consider maybe get mentioned on this show on a weekly basis.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right, guys, stay tuned with us. Coming up here is going to be the touchdown reel, and then after that, we're going to hit a few ads, get those sponsors in there, and then from there, we're going to start talking about Week 7 results, going to Week 8 games. We got the call-in section. We got a lot of stuff coming up on deck, a lot of stuff to get ripped through. So thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget, like the stream, follow the stream, share the stream. Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So give us about, 2.5, 3 minutes here, and we should be back going hot.
Yep, we'll see you soon.
Some more interesting topics. We'll be right back.
440 and Goal welcomes in-combine sponsor from Allstate Kristen Dobbins-Beck-Barger. Kristen and her team offer auto, home, renters, and various other insurance policies. Visit Kristen at 4605 Main Avenue in beautiful Ashtabula, Ohio, or contact Kristen at 440-993-0256.
440 and Goal welcomes in Play All Awards and Engraving. Awards, they do them all at Play All. Play All offers a full line of acrylics, desk accessories, plaques, sports awards, and more. A staple of Ashtabula County, Play All has been in service since 1993, helping the likes of educators, coaches, and individuals just like you. You can visit Play All at 4542 Main Avenue in beautiful downtown Ashtabula, Ohio, or call them at 440-992-7529 with any questions. Let's
Gotta
put
bring
us
us
on
in
there
there.
too. Hey, welcome back. Actually, welcome back. I want to apologize. We got a message during the touchdown reel.
Yep.
Kenny Young's mom, I'm sorry. I missed it. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I missed the touchdown, to be honest with you.
Because there were so many.
There were so many. Like Sam said, I'm sorry. I'll try to see what I can do to work it in next week, even on that touchdown reel. Put a little asterisk. Maybe this is week 7. Make up for Kenny Young's mom. So I apologize. I'll do my best to get better. Anyways.
Yeah, let's move right into these game results, and we'll talk about the results, and then we're going to go right into the leaders because we're really looking forward to our call-in section tonight. You'll be able to call in and voice your opinions on who you think the number 1 team in the county is and why, and also an on-the-fly question, who was your favorite coach and why?
Yeah, I like that. You posted that out there. YSN put it out, and you shared it, and it got some traction.
Coaches
maybe.
are important. So,
Right.
But let's get right into it. Lakeside, who is now 5-2, 26. Chagrin Falls 7, and Lakeside continues to roll.
Yeah, and the Edgewood Warriors 4-3 now. Take a tough one against Geneva, like we I guess we talked about a little bit, but Geneva 41, Edgewood 8.
Conneaut 12, Northeast 14, and this one was the biggest head scratcher of the weekend.
Yep, 2-point conversion at the end of the game did not push Conneaut the rest of the way. So that tells you how valuable those field goals are.
They really are. I'm telling you, kickers are the most underrated portion of the game for everybody. And then we'll follow that head scratcher with another head scratcher, and that's Jefferson, who's now 5-2, 14. Struthers, who's 3-4. 42, and getting word on Struthers actually bringing in 4 starters that have been out for a good portion of the year, due to injury or whatever. But injecting 4 of their starters back into the lineup, and that is, they played South Range, who's 7-0 to a 10-point loss, just last week.
Yeah, Struthers is, I think, a little bit more real than what anyone expected. Geneva did a great job. I think it was week 2, whatever it may have been, really taking it to him.
Going out there and jumping on him.
But Jefferson had a tough one. Jefferson does take a loss on this one. Struthers 42, Jefferson 14. Moving right into it, Grand Valley and Cardinal. That was a YSNlive.com coverage. Grand Valley does take that loss. Cardinal 34, Grand Valley 13. Good night. I just seen the bottom score there. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, they held no punches. That game, Grand Valley and Cardinal, we covered that. It was actually a fun game to watch.
Yep.
Grand Valley
was out.
Boyarski and Goforth were both out, so they're on their 3rd string quarterback. And guess what? That didn't hold Cardinal out. That Joey Soltis, that kid got busy for Cardinal that night. It was really Cardinals offense getting the job done most of the night. Grand Valley, it was a pretty close game there in the beginning. Rogers, without the quarterback's help, they were able to keep him.
Yeah,
they were able to keep him pretty quiet.
Yeah, it was Casey Turner most of that first and second quarter. I think he got both touchdowns, but I don't think the second one came till the third. But don't quote me on that. But Casey Turner, did a good job with the yards up front there. But yeah, unfortunately, like you said, Sam, without getting the Grasshopper involved, it was a tough one there for the Grand Valley Mustangs.
Yeah, they tried to get him involved a little bit, but they just couldn't get the passing game going. And a shout out to Cam Cottrell for coming in and stepping in as a guy who's
quarterback that you could probably
he's a guy that played a running back all year this year.
Right.
So he had to step into a role that was completely different than what he was used to playing, and he did as good a job as anybody could want. They just, there's a reason why guys are quarterbacks, a reason why guys are running backs. And by making Cottrell a quarterback, they also removed a running back out of that stable, and it just kind of upsets the apple cart. Hopefully Grand Valley going to be able to, put these guys back on the field because they've got some games ahead of them that I think are very winnable. But that one going to go to the way of the Cardinals.
Yep, and last but not least, but this I did not realize this score was where it was.
Oh, I did because I remember talking about it.
60, Wyndham, a dozen. Yeah, I mean, those are some numbers. That's not like 3 games in a row now. PV's put up close to 60.
St. John awoke the dragon that lives in the Pymatuning Valley Lake.
Yeah, I mean, when 2 weeks ago, I think PV was 1-4.
They were 0-4.
0-4.
They had been on a 3-game winning streak.
Terror. Yeah.
And again, another over 300-yard rushing game for the PV Lakers. They've gotten like 900 yards in 3 games.
Yeah.
Like it's something ridiculous like that. Really, really getting the job done. But that is the pick 'em. And the way that was going to go last week, Ryan's new record going to be 16-4. Mine going to be 14-6. Unfortunately, I'm going to pick wrong on 4 of those games.
Did you? Oh, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
We both got ate up by Conneaut, Jefferson, and Grand Valley, so you lost 3 of them.
Hey,
I just went the extra mile, and I took Edgewood, and you grabbed Geneva, and you got the day.
I like that. Let's see.
So let's go right into the stat leaders from week 7.
This one then.
You got it.
All right, let me make the screen a little bigger so we can read. I'll let you start it off, buddy.
All right, we're going to go with the passing leaders this week, and Edgewood High School's Tony Hall with 1,205 yards passing already with 2 games left to go and possibly 3 games, although playoff stats don't count toward the regular season. Right. 1,205 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Really, really getting it done out there in Edgewood. St. John's, Vinny Narducci. 851 yards with 5 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Yeah.
We're going to
see what you did there.
We'll go down to Grand Valley's Nate Boyarski, who did not play last week. Going to be in 3rd place still with 835 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Grant Hitchcock missing an entire game due to injury, where he went out and decided he was going to be Julian Edelman and go 8 receptions for well over 100 yards because what can't he do? 45 for 167. He's got 703 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which is probably, of all the quarterbacks listed right now, that's got to be the most impressive, the 9-2 ratio.
Yeah.
And then Lakeside's Alex DeSalvatore, who's 50 for 84. So if you look out there, much like Grant Hitchcock, he doesn't really pass the ball that much, but when he does, it counts. And 645 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions for the junior quarterback.
All right, moving on, going into some rushing. No surprise here, Zach Rice topping that leaderboard. 118 carries for 901 rushing yards and 13 tutties, and that's quite a few touchdowns. That's definitely more than 1 a game. But,
yeah, I mean, that's
almost. No,
what do you expect from
almost
Zach?
2 a game. Yeah,
I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah. PV's Ryan Croston with 114 carries at 871 yards, 6 tutties, and that, my friends, is on paper a quarterback.
Yes.
So everyone knows that. That man is a quarterback. Jefferson's Grant Hitchcock, 77 carries, 820 yards with 9 tutties. PV Ty Vickery, 107 carries, 686 yards, 8 touchdowns. That is a true running back out there for PV. And then Geneva's Luke, Cool Hand Luke, right, Sam?
Cool Hand Luke, baby.
Cool Hand Luke, 72 carries, 622 yards, and 10 tutties.
I want to point out something before we move on to the next one. Luke Smith and Grant Hitchcock are far and away the lowest amount of carries on this list and carrying their own. Their yards per carry are ridiculous.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Cool Hand Luke and the man, the myth, the legend. What would Grant Hitchcock do? Those 2 guys are really, really getting it done on the ground.
Yeah, Grant's got to be averaging, what, about 11? Almost, yeah, no.
I ain't even
12.
trying that.
It's about 12
yards.
yards.
On the air, I won't.
Yeah, I know for sure it's more than 10 because 10 times 7, all that. Make math easy. But moving into it, going into the receivers. Go ahead, Sam, take it away.
The Grasshopper, baby, Robert Rogers, even though he has a tough night on Friday, still going to maintain his status on top with 43 receptions for 617 yards and 9 touchdowns. Not far behind him is going to be Trent Hodge, 32 receptions for 495 yards, 5 touchdowns. Christian Cunningham from Edgewood is going to be in third place with 28 receptions, 438 yards, 5 touchdowns. St. John's got a pair at the bottom. Matt Miller going to start it. 22 receptions, 353 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Will Anderson, 23 receptions for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I want to point out, Matt Miller and Will Anderson didn't play last week.
Ooh.
So
still stacking that stat board. All right, going into tackles this year. On the year. I'm not wrong. I'm right. So Jefferson's Wade Woodworth with 86.5. Edgewood's Seth Enos was 79.5. Edgewood's Zeke Lucas was 71.5. Conneaut's Ty Colville with 59.5. And last but not least on this list is going to be Lakeside's Cam Crockett with 53.5. And as you see at the bottom of your screen, tackles equal. A tackle is 1 point for solo and 1 point for TFL sack and a sack. And half a point for any assists registered.
Yeah, it's these guys are going out and get it done. Cam Crockett has started his path. He's got the most assists in the county, by the way.
Does he?
Yeah, and that's not why he's on the list, because he has a ton of solos. His assist numbers are ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wade Woodworth is going to be the top TFL guy this week. That's tackle for loss with 16.5. Conneaut's Jaden Anderson going to be right behind him with 13. Freaky Zeke, baby. Zeke Lucas with 11 of those things over at Edgewood. Moses Schwartz parting offensive lines like the Red Sea with 8 of them. And then Seth Enos with 8 of them right behind him.
All right. Sacks on the year. Let's see. I think that's a new sack leader, isn't it?
That is a new sack leader this week.
Cameron Cargill for the PV Lakers with 4.5 sacks. Conneaut's Jaden Anderson with 4, as Geneva's Jake Wilson with 4. PV's Chase Vickery with 3.5, and Conneaut's Ty Colville with 3. Congratulations to Cameron Cargill getting it in.
And here we go. Your interception leader this week. Again,
I feel like you ever watched the guy from the Mets pitcher, Tommy Trumpet?
No.
When he comes, you have to watch the video. And I feel like every time you announce Angelo Clause's name, we should have Tommy Trumpet's music going. And you have to watch it now so you understand what I'm saying. I'll show you after the show.
Your leader this week is Angelo El Rey Colazo. Yes. With 6 of them things. Angelo Colazo saying, I am of the island, and this is an island. Don't come out here, baby. He's got 6 of them. Right behind him going to be Hunter Brott with 4. Conneaut's Wyatt Payne. He's going to have 3. Jimmy Severino with 3 behind him. Jace Folkman also with 3. And Gio Rice with 3 from Geneva.
All right, guys, going right into it, right? What time we got? We got about 9 minutes. So,
we'll go as long as it needs as it takes. But
yeah, let me I'm gonna put in this call-in number.
Well, we got to get our picks.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah. Okay, I thought you were skipping it.
We're gonna go into picks. What we're gonna start to do here is you see the call-in number down there, 440-299-7697. We're trying to make it quick, rapid-fire type stuff. Call in, tell us who the number 1 team in the county is, in your opinion, and also who your favorite coach was.
Lines are open.
Make sure I got that one there. Let me go ahead and get this set up real quick, Sam. And then we shall be good. I think. Yes.
All right.
And remove. And now we should be good at that aspect. So nonetheless, waiting on that first phone call. Get yourself some hot action. There's almost 30 out there watching. Someone's got to have an opinion. 440-299-7697.
Who's the number 1 team in the county?
Who's number 1 team in the county? Who's your favorite coach growing up? And I guess high school, college.
Any coach. Who's your favorite coach?
Right.
Who's the favorite coach you played for?
All right, going into week 6 pick'ems. Here it is. I'm sorry, not week 6. Week 8 pick'ems. So rock right through it, Sam. Lakeside taking on Kirtland. Who you got?
Give me Kirtland.
Yep. So let me just do this. R and Sam, and I'm going to take Kirtland
Yeah,
as well.
it's no slight against Lakeside, but I mean it's Kirtland.
Yeah, it's Kirtland.
Yeah. So moving on, we got Edgewood versus Chagrin Falls. I think this is going to be the one that separates us. I'm taking Edgewood to bounce back from that big loss. It's going to be a tough one because I will tell you, Chagrin Falls played Lakeside down to the numbers.
Yeah. I feel like Edgewood's going to have it too. I don't want to agree with you just because. So I'm going to go Edgewood as well. I feel like Edgewood's going to have a good bounce back, kick back after that Geneva. They're going to come out with a little bit of fire in their eyes and let it ride. Next game, Geneva taking on West G. I know who you're not picking.
It's Geneva big, baby.
Yeah.
Beat the River Rats. Send them back to West Geauga.
Yeah. I got to take Geneva too. I do believe they're going to be way too strong for. And don't get it twisted. The River Rats are a very youthful team. We did get to talk to a couple guys there when Lakeside took on West G. Very youthful team.
They have so the problem is they have this curse that's always going to follow them around because they pick the worst mascot probably in the history of man.
Right.
So they're never going to have any success with that mascot and those ugly helmets. Anyway, moving on, we're going to go to Jefferson versus South Range. Jefferson, it has a tough loss last week, and they're going to try and bounce back this week, but I just don't think it's going to happen. South Range is a different it's a different animal.
Yeah. So Sam's got Jefferson.
I'm taking South Range.
I said that wrong. Yeah, South Range. I got to take South Range on this one too. No slight against Jefferson. I hope they come out and prove us wrong. I do. I think they do have the talent to do it. It's just a matter of putting it together. But South Range is a tough squad. That game also, real quick, will be available on ysnlive.com, so you'll be able to check that game out. Going into it, Grand Valley taking on Rootstown. This one's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. Grand Valley, they put up a big fight. Unfortunately, I don't know the status of Boyarski, and I don't know the status of Goforth. So because I don't know the status of those guys, I've got to go with the Rovers. If Boyarski is out there, though, I think Grand Valley can compete with anybody out there. So that's where I'm going with that.
GV, huh?
Yeah. No, I'm going Rootstown.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rootstown.
Trying to multitask. Don't forget, guys, bottom of your screen, 440-299-7697. Call in. Tell us who is the best team in the county right now and also who your favorite coach was growing up. Let's see. I got to go Rootstown as well. I'm not going to get it.
All right, moving on from that then.
Yeah.
We're going to go PV versus Conneaut, and PV versus Conneaut, that's going to be our game. That's the game we're covering this week. We're heading down to Andover, baby, as this county matchup is going to take place on the resurgent PV Lakers taking on Conneaut, bouncing back from their first loss since week 1. This one I think is going to be tighter than people think, but I gotta go Conneaut here because I think they're trying to play for the home team. They're trying to play for a home playoff game. So because of that, I'm going to take the Spartans.
This is tough for me because PV's on a roll, and I don't know if they're going to run into a brick wall with Conneaut. Conneaut just took that tough loss to Rootstown.
No,
or not Rootstown,
Northeast.
but Northeast. Man. Don't kill me, Spartan Nation, but I'm taking PV. So
there's a separator.
There's a separator. So Sam's got Conneaut. I got PV.
It's fine. You're just not going to be welcome at Breakwall. I mean, good luck.
There's other places.
Yeah, good luck getting service at Rainbow Cafe.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We're going to go to St. John going to Matthews. St. John 2-4. Matthews is 6-1. I want to pick St. John so bad. I really, really do. I think they've got some stuff going. I think it's working for them. But Matthews is 6-1, and they have got it going. They've got all of their pieces going, and unfortunately, St. John didn't have an answer in the last game. I think it's going to be a much closer game this week, but I'm going to go with Matthews.
Yeah, I got to co-sign with you on that one. 6-1 Matthews. St. John, as you said, they got a few things going, but I don't think it's going enough just to get over top of Matthews and being away as well. So, all right, guys, we're still waiting. No one's called. 30 people watching. No one's willing to take the chance to let us know who the best team in the county is, as well as tell us who their favorite coach is. 440-299-7697. Call in. let us know what you think. Do we have anything else? Is that everything, Sam?
Well, that's it. But we're going to talk about what the questions are.
The question.
The number one team in the county.
Oh, yeah,
and we're
right.
going to talk about our favorite coaches. So as people hear our thoughts, maybe they'll come and bring in
Chime
theirs.
in a little bit.
So we're going to go number one team in the county is basically going to be me and Ryan's Power Four. This is something that typically is going to be different between both of us because we both have two different schools of thought. So we'll start going from number 4 on up. I led last week, so you're going to lead this week.
You got to give me a minute. This is
my
unfair.
God. Come on. You got to be able to think on your feet.
No, that is not a thing. I can't even walk on my feet half the time. Man.
So here you go. I'll write it out for you and make it real easy. We got four teams that are 5-2. So you got Geneva,
440-299-7697.
Lakeside.
Who is the best team in the county? Call in. Let us know what you think.
Conneaut, and Jefferson. All right. So who's your number 4 team? I started last week, so I'm bailing you out this week.
Do I say it out loud right now?
You're going to say it out loud right now for the world and Kanye to hear.
All right. I'm going Conneaut right now.
All right. So I actually agree with you. I'm going with Conneaut because even though it was a tough loss that they took last week, it was an 0-5 Northeast that they take the loss to. So I still think they're a top team in the county. Yeah. But that definitely raised some questions to it. So because of that, they're still in the top 50%, but I am going to put them at 4. Conneaut Spartans, the number 4 in our Power 4.
All right. Number 3. I got to go Lakeside right now. Lakeside at number 3. Good win against Chagrin Falls. Their test, though, is a big test. Aren't they? No. Yeah. Yeah, Lakeside's lining up against Kirtland this week, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a tough go for Lakeside this week.
Yeah. So number 3 for me is going to be the Lakeside Dragons at the power rankings there.
So I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Lakeside's my number 3, and I'm going to tell you what. As we posted this week, I heard the same argument from everybody on the post that wanted to talk about Lakeside, and that was injuries.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's absolutely true. I can tell you with a lot of confidence that if Lakeside was healthy and they still had Jay Sean and Randy and Malachi and the full group playing for them, that Lakeside wouldn't be number 3. I think they would be number 1. I think, honest to God, there's a good chance they'd be undefeated.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a good chance.
Kirtland?
No, not going against Kirtland up to this point.
Oh, up to this point.
That there's a good chance. I think Lakeside, a healthy Lakeside was going to beat Perry. I think they were going to be the one to take the lid off of Perry finally.
Yeah.
But that's not the case because guess what? It's football and injuries happen.
Yep.
And because of that, right now, Lakeside not number 1 in the county, they're number 3.
Come on, Mr. Crockett. Let us know how you feel. All right, so going into number 2, real quick, though, 440-299-7697. Call in. Give us your top 4 real quick. I don't care. And then let us know who your favorite coach was.
All right. Who's your number 2? I know you're trying to punt this off. And you're
I
stalling.
don't want to say it, but I gotta go Jefferson.
That's an interesting pick.
It's such a tough pick. So all I can think about, right? All I can think about is if Jefferson and Geneva lined up this Friday night to play each other.
Yes.
I gotta give, and not by much. I'm talking about like a 1 and 1A type situation here. I'm giving the nod to Jefferson. I think that's what my gut says. I mean, I wish I could do, 1 and 1A, but you can't have a tie. Right?
Yeah, they know.
You can't have a tie.
It's gold. It's gold and silver. It's gold and silver.
It's Jefferson's passing attack is going to be amazing, but I think Geneva's got a great defense to defend it. We talked about it. 8 interceptions. They took on Struthers. They got Struthers, and Jefferson just lost to Struthers. There's no, again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just putting the facts out there. I heard that Struthers may have, they didn't have all the players when they played Geneva, but no matter which way you look at it, Geneva got Struthers. So Jefferson lost to Struthers. I don't know if that's the best way to look at it, but I think if it was head-to-head Friday night, regardless of home or away for either team, I think Geneva's I'd give them 3 points, a 3-point win over top of whatever the number is, 20-17 or whatever it may be.
So, I knew this was where we were going to be different.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Geneva at number 2.
Okay.
And there's a lot of thought that goes behind that. So I understand that Geneva went out and smacked the taste out of Struthers' mouth. I know that. I know that they played a different Struthers team than Jefferson did. They've had some additions. I'm not one that likes to give a whole bunch of credence to injury talk.
Right.
It exists. You have to take it into account. Jefferson went out. Jefferson went out last week, and they got their butt kicked by Struthers. But this is the same Jefferson team that covered the week before.
And we got our first call here in a moment.
You gonna grab it?
Yeah, just relax.
Well, I gotta do it here.
It's a surprise.
All right, you're on the show.
It's a surprise. How you doing? Let us know what you think. Maybe a name too, but that's up to you, I guess.
All right, that's a great question.
It's a great question.
So I'll start.
Well, are we going to keep him on the phone? Keep talking with him? Okay.
Yeah. So I know me personally, how do I put Edgewood over Conneaut after week 1? Or Conneaut, over Edgewood. Conneaut lost that game early with a injured Zach Rice and never turned back. Edgewood, the loss that they took last week to Geneva, honestly, Edgewood is where I have it, is the team I have at 5 right now.
Okay, yep.
The loss that they took last week to Geneva raises some questions because the defense just struggled so heavily.
I got to go with, he does bring up a point, it's a surprise here who's on the line with us, but he does bring up a great and valid point because up until this week, that is a question mark. But I go to, Zach Rice was out week 1.
Yeah.
And that is the heartbeat, the heart and soul of that Conneaut
100%.
offense. He was not there. And I feel like if Zach Rice was there, I think it was a 19-13 win for Edgewood.
It was a 15-14.
15-14.
Yeah.
I think Zach Rice puts Conneaut over top, and they do get that win. And I hate to use the injury bug, but that's where I'm going with it.
So who is your top 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. So it sounds like a Geneva fan.
This is Coach Shimsky.
It's not Coach Shimsky. He doesn't want to. Yeah, we'll keep him anonymous. Yeah,
that might tell me too.
Check your phone to make sure that came through the right way, just to be sure. The voice, the audio, because it's the first time we ever did that.
Well, that's late, so we're not going to hear it.
No, you can't rewind it?
No.
Okay.
So anyway, getting back to it, because of that, I'm going to go.
Whoever that was,
he's got a good point.
He's got a good point, but so he went, what did he say? Edgewood at 4.
Edgewood 4. Jefferson 3. Lakeside 2. Geneva 1.
Yeah. See, I just can't put Edgewood just in the top 5 just yet. I just really can't, or top 4 just yet. That's a tough one for me to really process that and be all right with it.
Yeah. So hold on. I'm just gonna.
I just want to check something.
That's me too. I got to make sure that they can hear the callers.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at really with that is I disagree there.
Keep talking.
I disagree there in that Jefferson is my number one team. I think Jefferson's offense right now is elite.
Oh, they can't hear the call.
That's weird that they can't hear the call. Why?
I don't know. If I add the stream, it goes there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's super weird. I don't know.
We heard it.
Yeah, we
tell
heard
you
it.
that.
Yeah, they couldn't hear the call. Anyway, just kind of getting back to that. So Jefferson's offense to me is elite. There, Grant Hitchcock is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen, ever. When it comes, it doesn't matter if it's option, put it in the air, whatever. He's able to do them both. Their defense has had some question marks. Jefferson shuts people out or gives up a ton of points.
Right.
There's not really a mixture in between there. If Jefferson and Geneva met up right now, I would go Jefferson is who I think would be favored.
See, I don't know. I don't think it would be. That's just a really honest to goodness. I just think it's a really honest. The two teams are so different that it's not a good matchup. And one team I think is going to be better than the other. But the thing is, historically, that wing T offense that Geneva has, they can't play from behind. So if Jefferson comes out firing, you might be right. But if Geneva does their slow, methodical, 12-minute quarter,
can eat the clock.
8 minutes out, they score 6 points, and the defense is just worn out and whooped and all that fun stuff, then that does happen. Like, it's just tough. It's tough. It really is.
Oh, you know what? Did you make sure that the audio is
shared?
included?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really where I'm at with that. So my top four is going to be Conneaut, Lakeside, Geneva, Jefferson. Ryan's top four are going to be Conneaut, Lakeside, Jefferson, Geneva.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, unfortunately this, and thank God that this is the last year that the big question is going to be up there, because guess what? Next year, all four of those teams play each other, and it puts everything to bed.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. We talked about that just a little bit ago. Sammy, Lakeside could be 6-0 going into this big game against Kirtland. And you're right. I mean, that's what
they could be. They could be.
But the injury bug has bit them, and it is what it is, and they got to ride that wave the best way they can. So.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't get it. Lakeside's a different team without Jay-Sean.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So Geneva they're moving forward and they're getting it done. Like I said, next year, this would have been the perfect year for those two to play, because it would have put that to bed. So next year, when we have this CVC Lake division up here, and it's going to be Madison, Lakeside, Geneva, Edgewood, Conneaut, and Jefferson. Those are the six. That's going to be one division. Those guys are all going to play each other for their division and conference title. All this stuff gets to be put to bed, because we're going to get to see them on the field, and that's going to be I think I can't wait for that. I think that this area has been reeling, longing for that.
Yeah.
To see that again. And I hope that cooler heads always prevail if they ever try and blow up the county conference again, because county football is more, it's better to watch. It's more entertaining. And I do know that there's one Division II and one Division III, and the rest are 4s and 5s. But with 16 guys getting in, you can get it done now.
Yeah.
So there is no more excuse. So before we go, Ryan, we still got the call in. Unfortunately, I don't know why hopefully it'll work now.
I don't know.
Maybe the audio wasn't enabled.
Maybe I did double check that.
But you guys feel free to call in. We can hear you.
Yeah. Well, this time if you do call in, Sammy will take it on his phone. And
we'll put you right here on the microphone. Ryan, who was your favorite coach growing up?
It's a toss up for me. It really is, because I love them both. I love the kind of what they did, but I am going to go 50-50, because I don't care what anyone says. I really enjoyed both of them, but Coach Brad Johnson.
There's no such thing as 50-50.
There is in this avenue. Don't care. Brad Johnson and Coach Joe Rich, which I do get to talk to Rich every once in a while. He calls me up to bust my chops pretty hard. Just lets me know about myself. And usually to tell us that we're doing great, but then he also reminds me how stupid I am too. So no, I got to say Joe Rich and Brad Johnson were my two favorite coaches growing up, Sam. But what I know, you already posted yours, but you can go ahead and tell everyone anyways.
So I'm gonna get I guess a little sappy here. I'm gonna get and wordy on mine because I've been thinking about.
I love this guy too. Sorry,
since I put it out there. So for my favorite coach of all time, it's no question. It's the person who's probably affected my life in a positive manner more than any other coach I had. And I've had some great coaches. I had Jay Corlew, who was phenomenal. I think when it comes to wrestling, it was Pete. I knew it. I knew it had to be one of them. When it comes to wrestling, I think one of the unsung heroes in this area, I think he's one of the greatest wrestling coaches of all time, is John Anservitz. I don't think he gets anywhere near enough credit. John Anservitz was able to make Lakeside's wrestling program like the one to beat, even when Geneva was pushing out guys like Travis Bernard. He was great. I wrestled for 2 years, but my favorite coach of all time, because he helped me become a better person, is Sean Allgood. And for you coaches, any coaches who are out here watching, I want to take this second to just kind of talk to you guys directly. Every single coach can change the life of great athletes. Good coaches can change the life of good athletes, mediocre athletes. Elite coaches change the lives of everybody they coach. The guy whose jersey is clean on Friday night looks up to the coach the same way the guy who had to get his changed at halftime because it got ripped off of him. I've been on both sides of that. You know what I mean? There are games where the laundry people didn't even need to wash my jersey because I didn't get on the field. I've been on teams where, I played the entire game and wasn't an all-star, but a significant starter. I've been on both sides of that. But one thing remained was the amount of time that coaches put in and the care that they put in always is what imprints. And you coaches have such an important job. And if there are any coaches out there that winning, that your ability is measured by winning and losing, you're probably in the wrong business. Because in whether it's high school or junior high or YFL, if winning is first on your list, then you're not doing anything for those kids. Whether it's boys, girls, or whatever, as long you have to be out there for them to make them better, not just on the field, but off the field as well. You have to be the shoulder to lean on. You have to be the boot that kicks them in the butt when they need it. You have to be that person. That's what makes a great coach. And that's what Sean Allgood was. Sean Allgood is an elite athlete, Division I football player. He's a guy that didn't have to spend time on this chubby kid who was undersized and wasn't going to make a difference on basketball courts or football or any of those other things. But he took that time. He made sure why I wasn't playing made sense. And rather than sit and be mad and beside myself, you had somebody who motivated you to try and make you better. And people who are like that, I think, are people who actually change the world. So if you are a coach out there, and you don't feel, if you're spending so much time on your Division I prospects and all this other stuff, that the guy or the girl that hasn't made a change, a huge difference on the court or on the field or even running or whatever, if they don't have a connection for you, then you're failing. You're failing because it's your job to make sure that every one of those kids feels like that their effort is worth it. Because sometimes, and in a lot of cases, not mine, I had great parents, but in some cases, kids don't have it anywhere else but to you. So you have that responsibility, and it's a huge one. And I've met some great ones who have changed the lives. And for me, Sean Allgood, he changed the life for me.
Yeah, I'm not as elaborate as Sam. I can tell you that. He does a great job at it. But one thing I do want to say is sometimes the kid needs the sport more than the sport needs the kid.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I always admired about Allgood, and he was able to recognize that. Truly, I just love Rich and Johnson because of the, Johnson liked to just let us have it. I don't know how else to say it. He was just as black and white as you could get it. If you did good, you did good. If you did bad, you did bad. That's just what it was. Same thing with Rich. The bully is actually the friendly nickname. I think it was Sconey that gave him that nickname, but I can't remember. He was another one I appreciated. Yeah, God rest Sconey's soul. But he was another one that I really, truly appreciated. But I do, I have a lot of fond memories of Goody. But unfortunately, Goody was more of that skill position guy, and I was more of the overweight guy that played on the offensive line. And he didn't really know how to coach me in that one, I'm assuming. But Goody could have coached anything. So, but I think that's it. 440-299-7697. We'll leave it open for another minute here and see if anyone wants to call in and tell us the number one team in the county.
Yeah.
And tell us their favorite coach. We're here for it.
Yeah, and before we get going, I do want to remind you all and invite you to join us tomorrow as we head over to Andover when the Conneaut Spartans are going to take on the PV Lakers. I think that's it. I think we should just call it a night.
Call it a night. All right, guys. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget on Facebook, like, and at this point, don't share anymore, but like and follow. I always screw that one up. And then over on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Tomorrow, as Sam said, Conneaut taking on PV live on ysnlive.com, and also Jefferson taking on
South Range.
Thank you. Will also be live on ysn.com. So check that out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless.
Yeah.
And have fun.
And for all you coaches out there who have watched, who are watching, and the ones we've gotten, to get a good relationship with throughout this entire thing, thanks for taking some time with us to help us, push your kids.
Sorry, Sam.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to say thanks for taking time with us so we can help you push these kids forward. You guys are super important, and we've gotten to meet some great ones.
All right, guys. Talk to you guys tomorrow night. See you then.